This CoinWeek podcast is brought to you by PCGS. Visit PCGS for on-site grading at the Long Beach Expo on September 7th and 8th. Long Beach Expo is the West Coast premier coin and collectibles show featuring hundreds of nationally known dealers, auctions, and world-class educational attractions. Visit longbeachexpo.com to learn more. The destructive power of Hurricane Harvey and the 50-plus inches of rain it brought to Houston and the surrounding area has dominated the news in recent weeks, and rightfully so. Houston is our country's fourth largest city, and large swaths of it lie in a floodplain. With another killer storm battering the Caribbean as we speak, we thought it would be a good idea to check in on Beaumont, Texas coin dealer Mike Fuljenz, owner of Universal Coin and Bullion, to see how he and his employees fared during the storm and how much cleanup is left to do. Hi, Mike. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to join me on the CoinWeek podcast.
Always great to hear from you, Charles. Appreciate your work.
As Hurricane Harvey made landfall, I couldn't help but think of you and several other dealers and collectors who I know operate out of the greater Houston and Beaumont region. Obviously, everybody in the affected area has been in our thoughts in recent days, especially now as everyone's trying to pull themselves out from under the damage that was wrought by this devastating storm. I want to take a few minutes today and get your take on the storm and how it's impacted your life and the lives of your employees and customers and, the operation of your business, seeing as you operate Universal Coin and Bullion out of Beaumont, Texas.
Well, for those who don't know, we had 26 inches of rain in one day from Tropical Storm Harvey. A front from the high pressures from the east and west formed a blockade, and it hovered over us for 4 days. We had over 50 inches of rain in 4 days, 26 inches in one day, and that 26 in one day was double the previous record. Beaumont has great detention ponds. They double as soccer fields, and they put a lot of money into drainage. So while there was street flooding and minor business and house flooding, my business and house were not affected. And the biggest problem for Beaumont was the lack of drinkable water. And so bottled water was a premium. We got some bottled water in, but hospitals, doctors' offices, restaurants could not operate because they didn't have water to do that. But many of my employees lived just outside of Beaumont in cities to the north, south, east, and west where you could get more house, more yard, good schools. And so there, where they didn't have the superior drainage systems, those people have 5 to 12 feet of water in their houses. They lost their cars. They're having to gut their houses, throw everything out on the street, and start over in their houses, losing. And when you think of water, this is dirty water with chemical and sewage and spiders and red ant balls. This is not like getting clean pool water in your house. You've got to clear it all out. But my employees were really heroes. They were out in boats saving cats and people because a lot of them have boats. A lot of them fish and hunt down here. And we cooked. It'll be going up on our website at universalcoin.com when I get back. They cooked gumbo and sausage for the refugees in the centers that were here, and while helping out their own fellow employees. We had 100 people on GroupMe communicating, hey, who can get water here? Who can get bread here? HEB was great getting in food to our area. The Cajun Navy. The Cajun Navy came about because of poor service from the Red Cross in Baton Rouge. And Red Cross really struggled in our area and in Lake Charles to where the Sheriff's Department took them out of Burton Coliseum because of the way they were interacting with the people there. And Red Cross has done some great things, but our experience in Louisiana and Texas has not been the best with them.
Obviously, nobody can forget the terrible devastation that was brought upon New Orleans from Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The media has drawn some parallels between this storm and that storm, although Houston is a significantly larger city. In your opinion, and based on what you've seen, how has the federal response been to this disaster?
I think it's been better. While nothing's perfect, the response of individuals mobilizing, because of what happened to Katrina, you had a lot more people getting out in boats and helping out individually. You had the National Guard. You had the law enforcement was better prepared for this. The next year is going to be a lot of cleanup, a lot of construction, electricians. Rental cars are very hard to get, even when it's on your policy. The lists are 300,000-400,000 long to get cars. And, but, we're back up and running. We didn't have mail service, FedEx, UPS for 10 days. And so you can't get money in or ship coins out. And now we got Florida happening. We can't ship to Florida. So if we have customers, anybody who collects coins in Florida, I would advise them to hold off on their purchasing and shipping for a week or two to figure out what's going to happen with Irma. And for our area, we are now, you can finally ship into us safely and we can ship out. But we've got to get a bunch of mail from the post office and from FedEx that's been waiting for us.
How can a collector weatherproof their collection or bullion stack?
Make sure your safety deposit, I love safety deposit boxes in banks and security centers. From a robbery standpoint, from a storage, when I did the consumer alert for the Attorney General of Texas this year, I recommended that. But I would also recommend don't get ones on the bottom. Get one medium high so you're at least 3, 4, 5 feet above what would give you extra if the bank or security center floods. My vault, we went in and raised all the coins up about 3 feet or put big plastic buckets that were 3 feet high. We put stuff that was like silver bullion stuff in it so the water would have to rise 3 feet to get to it. So you want to make sure you get elevated your collection or anything if water comes in 2 to 3 feet. It doesn't help if it's 10 feet high. I mean, it really, you got a problem there. But you want to take care of if you get 2 or 3 feet of intrusion of water that you're protecting what you got.
If you are in the affected area, you're going to want to make sure that your coins are dry. You want to check them out. Even certified coin holders are not airtight.
No, they're not. They're not watertight, airtight. And if you've got some very valuable coins that have water in them, you might consider getting them to be reholdered at the grading service as soon as possible.
And the same would be true for paper money.
Absolutely, even more so.
So, Mike, what's your status? Are you back up and running?
We're back up and running. We've got a lot of employees who are gutting their houses and working on them, and we still have some roads that are impassable, but those are down dramatically. I mean, we were on an island for 7 days. All the roads were impassable around Beaumont, but we were dry in Beaumont. And our detention ponds were full, our canals were full, but the outlying cities were very flooded, so we were helping in boats in those areas with employees and other people. And let me tell you, if you rescue 10 dogs, one of the 10 may not get along, so you got to give the dog a different boat. It isn't as easy as rescuing a bunch of dogs because some of them don't get along.
In the lead up of the storm, how prepared were you in your business? Were you expecting this level of destruction?
It was worse. And, you might check with Governor Ralph Ross over in Houston. He told me he's okay. Dr. Ralph Ross, he's one of our ANA Board of Governors. But it depends what area you're in. U.S. Coins was fine in Houston, and my son was fine in Houston. We didn't think it would be this bad because we didn't expect – this wasn't wind damage to us like Rockport or Corpus Christi or what you're looking at Irma. Most storms hit, go through, dump 8 to 10 inches of rain, and that's easily handled. But because the high pressure from the east and west presented a blockade, it stayed on top of us for 4 days. I've never seen that happen. Usually it moves right through at 8 miles an hour, and you get 8 to 10 inches. We had no wind damage. At the very end, we had about 30-mile-an-hour gusts as it was leading us. But this was just pure rain. If you ever saw the movie Forrest Gump, it was coming from the top, from the bottom, from below. They watch Forrest Gump in the swamps in Vietnam, and it was Forrest Gump type rain.
So everybody in your employ made it through safe. Just a tremendous amount of property damage.
Everybody's safe. I'm seeing some other Houston coin dealers walking by me, getting ready to get on my flight out to Long Beach right now. But we still got people who have to leave intermittently to replace refrigerators, appliances. Right before you called, I got 2 calls. Name me a good electrician I can use. And I was sending them electricians, 2 or 3 numbers. It's just people helping people is what's going on.
That's good to hear.
Charles, the coin dealer community, and I'm talking about people like you, the dealers have been very gracious, keeping us in their thoughts and prayers, offering assistance. People need to understand coin dealers are great people.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you calling in. Be safe and have a nice show in Long Beach.
Thank you for reaching out, Charles. Anytime. Take care.
Sure. Take care. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share with your friends. Remember, you can download every episode of the CoinWeek podcast for free from the iTunes store. For CoinWeek, I'm editor Charles Morgan. Until next time, happy collecting.